takes a rest. Oh yeah. Sports, pop culture, wrestling too. We got it all with the very best. Tune into the filter-free podcast for the latest in entertainment news. TNA Top 10 will make you laugh with their hilarious views.
Good morning and welcome to the Ram Network's AEW All In London Prediction Show. I'm Palmwater Dave. Joined with me is the Ram Network Fund Director, Justin Yent. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, Dave.
And the A in the TNA Top 10, Mr. Andrew Hermes. How are you this morning, Andrew?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be here with y'all to talk about trying to predict some craptastic wrestling today.
We're setting the bar low for our fans.
We're going to see if we can predict the unpredictable this morning and get y'all ready for AEW's biggest show of the year, All In London from Wembley Stadium. The haters are saying they didn't sell out this year, but my God, 50,000 people is impressive.
Yeah, especially going back to the same venue.
Yes.
And not being the machine that is the WWE.
Right. And I even heard that WWE attendance for an event year over year went from like 50,000 to 11,000. And I didn't get a chance to fact check that. But for the same venue 2 years in a row.
Well, gentlemen, you both know that by the time they announce the attendance, it'll be 100,000 people in attendance through the gates. They've set records in London. They beat last year. Tony Khan will have some type of way to get attention with those attendance numbers. So
before we get into this, though, let's talk about All In next year being moved to Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas.
And Forbidden Door being moved to London.
I saw that. And so I'm glad they're not abandoning that demographic because, I mean, they're for Forbidden Door, they're liable to pull 50,000. I mean, it is in Wembley, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They're liable to pull 40, 50,000 next year for that. And that's great. Those are great crowds. I'm not crapping on it at all. But I am concerned with the idea that you're going to run Globe Life Field for this pay-per-view. And the reason I say that is they're only a few blocks down the street with their residency. I don't know that they'll sell 30,000 tickets for a stadium show in the United States. They haven't. They're not pulling big numbers in the United States. I think that it's an aggressive move to go to Globe Life, and I got to imagine that the capacity for that's probably going to be 50,000.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they've got to sell it to the people to go buy those tickets. They're not selling their product right now to anybody.
I mean, it's going to be a destination. I think people will come in for it. I don't think you're going to look up and have, 5,000 people in the stadium. I don't think it's going to be a crash and burn scenario like that. But I think if they could get 30,000 people, that'd be a success.
Yeah, I think if you think about it, like even the PLEs that are overseas right now for WWE, they're doing about 30 or 40 right now too. So That's a successful event. So I think they have between this year and next year's All In to make sure that they're making an impact. If you would have told me from last year to this year, after the momentum that they had, would they be less tickets for this year? I probably would have said no, but we all know what happened after All In, and it has continued to be a curse for AEW. So I'm hoping they pull themselves out of it. So
I just think it's I think it's a Hail Mary type scenario. I think that there can be no research or data that would lead you to think that you could sell out a stadium or pack a stadium in the United States, because you haven't. I mean, you're struggling to sell tickets to your television events.
Well, they're seeing diminishing returns too in their home city of Chicago. So, I mean, Chicago has always been the place where AEW knew they could sell out. And even the Double or Nothing in Vegas has been a place where they knew they could sell out. And both of those did not do the numbers they had done in years prior.
So
the other thing is, and this is just an opinion, and I want wrestling to be successful, since All Out 2022, AEW has lost their way and their momentum. And I mean, I was at the very first Double or Nothing at Las Vegas in 2019. That event sold out in less than 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Yeah.
14,000 people in the MGM Grand in less than 4 minutes. And that crowd was loud and it was raucous and it was a good night. And there was hope for professional wrestling. These days, I turn on the TV and I watch what Saraya and Tony Storm did Wednesday, supposedly doing a wrestling classic, whatever, back to British television. It was trash.
I mean, I'm not rooting against them. I mean, I want them to succeed. I am pulling for them harder than anybody. I just want them to do better in the ring. I mean, you can't put that Tony Storm Saraya crap on television and think that it doesn't do damage. That finish with Swerve and Yuta a couple weeks ago, where the referee pulls Swerve off of Yuta and stops the match because Yuta cannot defend himself. Instead of counting that he's hitting him with closed fists, you should have counted to 5. Yuta should have won by disqualification. It would have made the same statement. So, I mean, those are the kind of things that my frustrations are with what we do in the ring. Not because I want them to succeed. I've got friends that work there. And when you see people in the crowd, they're not sitting on their hands. Everybody that attends an AEW show is enthusiastic. They're not chanting boring. Speaking of chanting, let's talk about Jeff Jarrett. This week we saw the crowd singing to Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
And da double J. I mean, I loved it. And I mean, he's apparently very over in England, but not on this show against Hangman Adam Page, which makes no sense to me.
Well, yeah, like not announced for the show. Again, he may do the gauntlet.
Fingers crossed he's in the gauntlet, and him and Hangman touching the gauntlet, and Okada touching the gauntlet. I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping. I'm watching this pay-per-view. I bought this pay-per-view solely on Jeff Jarrett and Hangman, and it didn't get announced. And I'm like, what in the actual is that?
So,
but we'll put Hook and Jericho on the pay-per-view.
Yeah. But we got I hope I'm saying this right. Takara World's commenting in our chat, and this caught my attention as soon as he did it. My prediction tonight is Ricochet turning heel on Will Ospreay, hitting the recoil after he loses against MJF, and join Don Callis' family. Last month he told Ospreay, maybe one, I need a favor from you. I'm for that if that happens. I think that's a great prediction. That's I don't know if it's so much as a prediction as a wish. I'm here for Ricochet and Will Ospreay.
I am too. I think Ricochet needs a mouthpiece, so Don Callis is the perfect one to put.
Yes.
So
I'm for it, and that would be. There's going to be surprises today. There's going to be a surprise today, and that would be a great surprise. I hope that you're right there, sir. Jason Young's here, also from Nova Scotia. Thanks for joining us this morning, Jason. Y'all want to kick this thing off and get on into it?
We better, otherwise we won't get through the matches before they start at 1:00 there, Dave.
Yeah. All right. I'm hoping when I see Okada right front and center in this All In poster that was done that he'll actually be on the show. Fingers crossed that he's in the gauntlet match. First off, we got 0 Hour. 0 Hour is upon us. They have a 10-man tag with the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions, Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs, Marshall and Ross, Sammy Guevara, and Katsuyori Shibata. I should have just said Shibata. I butchered that man's name.
Yeah.
Got the Gates of against the Cage of Agony and the Undisputed Kingdom. I think this is going to be, this got 10 guys on the show. I'm for it. I'm predicting that Dustin and the Von Erich, Sammy and Shibata are going to go over in this match. I would rather see Matt Taven get the pin on any of them, because I for as much, I know that shocks you, Andrew, that I would not be pulling for the Von Erichs on this one, but I am such a huge fan of Matt Taven, the human being, that I would love to see him go over in this match. But I know it's not going to happen.
That's 3 very highly paid jobbers in the Cage of Agony. And unfortunately, your boy is a very good professional wrestler, as is his tag team partner, and they once again are not being used correctly in AEW. Shocker.
Yeah.
I think this conglomeration of Ring of Honor talent with the championships wins this one. Start the night.
And I would say that Sammy Guevara, who is also the Ring of Honor tag team champion with Dustin Rhodes, I would say that Sammy Guevara is going to pin Brian Cage, because Brian Cage normally gets pinned by people that are much smaller than him. Shout out to Tessa Blanchard.
It is so crazy to believe that Brian Cage has not been utilized as good.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
75-pound jobber. I mean, and I know that's quote offensive, but
yeah,
he does the job in every single match he's in.
Shout out to Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah. I followed Brian Cage from the days that he was in FCW here in Tampa. He's a great worker.
I don't get it.
I don't. He's got the look. I think you can totally market him. It boggled me why he stayed in AEW and did not make the jump back to the WWE.
A lot more than one comma in his check, I would imagine.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
So his wife just started as an announcer there too, so I'm sure that helps having both him and Melissa there. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I sound like I'm bagging on him. I'm really frustrated for him. I really am, because he is. I mean, when you look at him, he's the prototype for a professional wrestler. He's not a bad promo either.
Mm-mm.
He's not. He's got charisma. He's got the body. I don't get it. Why they put him in the positions they put him in.
Yeah, and I think Taven and his tag team partner,
Matt Bennett.
Matt Bennett.
Mike Bennett.
They will reap the rewards of Adam Cole when he does return. So I think that storyline's been put on hold because of his injury, but I think they will reap a lot of rewards once he's back.
I think I downloaded the wrong graphic for MJF. We'll see when we get to it. Also on 0 Hour, we got Willie. It just hit me when he said Adam Cole. We have Willow Nightingale and Ishii against Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. I don't see a scenario that Willow does not win this match, because this has been going on for a while. This is a leave them happy. This is going to be a leave them happy.
Dave, you don't see Stokely getting the pin for the win?
No.
Over Ishii?
No, I see Stokely. I see Stokely leaving. Leaving Chris Statlander in there on her own is what I see.
Running, yes.
Stokely's social media game is highly underrated.
I love Stokely
him on Twitter.
Yeah, he was good in WWE, and he's even better in AEW.
I love Stokely Hathaway. He is one of my guilty pleasures on AEW.
Yeah, I think this match is just here, kind of like the previous match, another multi-person match to get
Yeah.
people paid on your 200-person roster.
And
And they'll continue this feud. This won't be the end of it, I don't think, Dave. I think that they're going to continue with Willow and Statlander once this is over as well.
yeah, they're a long way from over.
Oh God, another
Yeah, that's what I
multi-man
said.
match.
That's
I
what I
love
said
this.
when I saw this. I was like, "What in the what?"
But I
We
love
have
the
a-
fact that they put it as a ladder match.
We have a ladder match with
Train
Christian Cage and the Patriarchy, the Bang Bang Gang, the House of Black, and Pac and BCC, Blackpool Combat Club. I predict this is going to be a clusterfuck.
100%. There's no way around.
I mean,
it.
Hey,
I saved this graphic on the computer as clusterfuck.
Dave, that's
Yes.
not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
That's
Yeah.
a spoiler. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a lot going on here.
This 12 guys, plus of course you've got Nick Wayne's mom outside and all that stuff, but
Well, there's the
12
good part of the
guys.
match.
in a ladder match for the trios title that annoys our man Dave here. It's the trios title, Dave, not a 6-man.
Did I say 6-man?
You probably didn't, but I did because I
I call it a 6-man. I refuse to
I
call
like
it
you
trios.
responding to it. You refuse to call it a trios title.
Yeah.
But this is, again, another multi-man match to get people paid. So if you add it up, that was 10 plus 4 plus 12. We've got 26 people in 3 matches.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and these matches are not in order. We're just we don't know the order of the matches.
No, because MJF's opening the show if he ain't main eventing. Come on now.
but I don't see a scenario that Christian does not climb the ladder and get the belts back.
Yeah, and
Because
I mean,
Christian,
these are-
is there anybody in this match that screams ladder match more than Christian?
Mm-mm.
Well, the only thing that I think they did add Pac in the BCC last night, and it was to give Pac his Wembley moment. So, if anything, if you're wanting to send the crowd home happy, I would put the titles on Pac in the BCC just for that moment of giving Pac his Wembley moment.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get there whenever Dave hits the graphic for the 3-way tag team match. But you have a tag team division right here. I heard it on a podcast and would agree with it. Maybe they scrap this trios title nonsense and let's have a real tag team division because there's very capable workers on this screen.
There are, but I believe with all the factions in AEW that 6-man championships are necessary, and I think that they actually do a good job with their 6-man championships.
Yeah.
Because you got enough factions that it actually makes sense to have them.
Well, that part is true, but what I'm saying is that we're recycling the match from All In last year to this year for your tag team titles rather than getting any of these guys hot for them.
I don't think that's anything to do with just the fact that there's poor booking and 2 EVPs that are putting themselves in the main tag title main event. That's just my 2 cents.
So before we move on, Justin, you say Pac's getting his moment.
I think so.
I say Christian's going to retain and get. I think he's going to put himself do a very little work in this match and climb the ladder and get the belts.
Yeah, I'm torn between either the Bang Bang Gang or the Patriarchy. And it's no offense to the House of Black because they're all capable, but we've seen how they've been booked since Cody left when Malachi or Alistair first made his appearance. I'm going to go with Team Christian Cage on this one. I think that Dave called it right. We see the chicken shit heel routine and he steals it, in some way, shape, or form.
And they're also using those 6-man belts and getting heat like crazy. I mean, even Shivani is offended that Mama Wayne carries a belt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just heat because poor Luchasaurus, whatever they're calling him now, Kill Switch. Because I mean, when he wins a belt, Christian takes it from him and holds it, and then they get the 6-man belts, and he doesn't ever get to hold it. So
Right.
it's just it's a rib at this point to me, and I love it. I think that they use the trios belts more as props I think that they're their own character, no matter who has them. I mean, when the Acclaimed had them, they had their own gimmick belts, and then when Taven and them had them, they carried the Acclaim belts. They were walking out there with actually six belts. They were having to use a wheelbarrow, a wagon to bring them out to the ring. They had so many of them. It's just, I think that it's entertaining what they do with them.
Crazy.
All right. Here's this 5-star classic.
They got the graphic wrong. Hook's got an eye patch. What's wrong with everybody?
He's Captain Hook now.
He's Captain.
That is fantastic.
I think Hook's going to win this one. What do y'all think?
Yeah. And I like the suggestion that I saw about this one. Have Hook squash Jericho, 10, 15 suplexes, drop him on his head, put him in the red room, and let's call it a day. You know, this does not need to go longer than a few minutes, you know.
Yeah.
Because, you know, their entrances between both of them are going to be 7 or 8 minutes right there. Because Jericho's got Fozzy going to be playing him out.
So what
I think Jericho puts Hook over today. I think Hook will do it convincingly. This has been going on a long time, and Hook's capable. Hook's very capable. I mean, he's come a long way since his debut.
So, Andrew, what you're suggesting is that Hook puts him underneath the learning tree, puts him down underneath.
Oh yeah, the learning tree thing needs to go away. This has got to be one of the most obnoxious, and I get that that's the point, but this is honestly fast forward for me because I don't care about Brian Keith. Big Bill is a stupid name for somebody that's that large, and I mean it's absolutely just. You're playing to the smart marks or people like us that watch wrestling in great detail. And I get that. I understand that. Kind of like his segment's called TV time because he's sucking up all the TV time from all the younger talent. But it's run its course. Move it along, you know?
Yep. Well, Hook is my pick as well. I think.
But I think they go 15 or 20 in this.
Yeah,
God help us. Dave, don't wish that about us.
I'm not wishing it. I'm just telling you.
I'd love to see Taz get involved, just to take out Brian Keith and Big Bill. So, even
Brian Keith, I can't take Brian Keith seriously, and they ruined Big Bill for me when they named him Big Bill. I mean, that's what did it.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I saved this graphic as ass.
We could always count on Dave, folks.
Well, I mean, I don't like Jungle Boy. I don't like Darby Allin. He's glorified stuntman. I said what I said. I don't know if he's got pictures of Tony Khan in the compromising position, why he gets the push that he gets. I'm happy for Sting that he got paid so much money to try to give this guy credibility. I'm so disappointed that he had to reschedule his match against Mount Everest. I'm so looking forward to him being gone for a while.
Yeah, Mount Everest might have gone over there, Dave.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. This is a piss match for me.
Or a sleep match. You might be taking a power nap later this afternoon on the watch.
I mean, I'm good at, I'm not out. So y'all go ahead because I'm going to be unapologetic that I could not care less. I would rather give birth to a pine cone, forcing it through my urethra than witness this match.
So
I would rather slide down a 50. I would rather slide down a 50-foot razor blade into a bucket of alcohol than watch this match.
I have a lot of good comments, so Justin, go ahead, buddy.
I think I've always liked casket matches. I am hoping that this lives up to something that isn't a shit show of him putting his body on the line 24/7. But to me, I hope Jack Perry wins and ends this feud, maybe sends him away for a while. So
Okay, so we have a similar thought. I think this is dumb because it's a coffin match or whatever. Darby Allin is undefeated in coffin matches. This is a match between two of the four pillars of the company for the TNT title. Darby Allin has already held the TNT title.
Wait,
3
what?
times.
You're calling Jack Perry a pillar of this company?
I didn't. Tony Khan did.
they've
Did he
been
really?
they've been both called pillars. It's
I know.
MJF.
Well, I know, but we
Perry,
mentioned that Darby
Allin.
Allin probably has something incriminating.
Yeah. And it
I
definitely
mean, look at the
pictures
pillars.
him.
Look at the pillars. That one corner's down like 4
Yeah.
feet below everybody else's. It's a wompy. The pillar's wonky.
Well, and the fourth one was Sammy Guevara, who's opening up the 0 hour.
Hmm.
But anyway, I like what they've done with Jack Perry's character. He's no longer Jungle Boy or Hollywood Jack. I like that he's the de facto leader of the elite because I can't stand the Young Bucks and Okada can't speak English well enough. But I would say this, they need to, because here's the problem. Not only is Darby Allin the number one contender for the TNT title, he actually has a shot at Arthur Ashe Stadium for the World Championship as well.
Yeah, go fucking figure.
And I don't know if you knew that or not, Dave, but he's actually in line for the Arthur Ashe match in September, I think it is, before the pay-per-view in Tacoma.
Oh, I saw the match where he won it, and I'm like, you got
Yeah,
it.
because that's the match Jeff Jarrett got eliminated by Hangman Adam Page in the Battle
Yeah,
Royal.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that Darby Allin gets lit on fire in this match and loses, and Jack Perry retains the TNT title. That's how far my prediction's going. The flamethrower's getting reversed tonight, and Jack Perry's going to light the casket on fire.
Mm.
Oh, and at some point, they will throw each other through real glass.
just
mention
to say real glass.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think Darby wins the title. I think Darby wins the title to give him some momentum to go into Arthur Ashe. I also think that he will after he puts Jungle Boy in the casket, he'll do a backdrop on top of the casket for no apparent reason because he likes to do that. I would like to see Jack Perry retain. I agree that he's more interesting now than he was. I don't know what he did to the melting down the TNA title, the TNT title, and all that. I saw the video of it, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But we'll see. We'll see when he comes out with it today. I think that Darby wins this match, and it's not what I want to see, but I think he will for the momentum going into Arthur Ashe. But I am 100% certain that he will do a backdrop on top of the casket.
Yeah, coffin drop.
Coffin drop. Yeah.
Because why not?
And make no mistake about it, I'm not a Darby Allin fan either because I don't want to see someone die in the wrestling ring. And he seems committed to that venture.
Yes. And that's my problem with him. I mean, when he does Tope Suicida, he goes heavy on the Suicida. It's like, let me see if I can run into this and hit this rail at 150 miles an hour. I'm gonna be
he's got the only believable one in the wrestling business. But
I mean,
it doesn't mean you need to do it.
He don't protect it. He does not protect himself.
No.
I don't want to see, and that's my issue with Darby Allin. That's why I'm so hard on Darby Allin, is that I don't watch wrestling to watch somebody kill themselves, and I didn't like it with Mick Foley either.
Yeah.
I didn't like watching Mick Foley do what Mick Foley did excessively. I don't want to see people injured for real. And he's not careful. He's wild assed and thinks he's bulletproof, and it's just, I don't want to see that. And it's like I said, he'll do the backdrop on top of the casket. It doesn't do anything to the opponent that you've already beat, but he did it. He did it last time. Just, hey, look at me. I can hurt myself. And maybe that's the appeal. It's not to me though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a. I mean, they got to do something with this match, but I mean, I didn't like the booking in the War Games where he's going to light Jack Perry on fire if all of a sudden he doesn't get a title match for Wembley. There was never even a stipulation for that, you know? And if they knew anything about continuity and storytelling, they would have had the flamethrower under the ring instead of using the lighter that I used to light my grill with before we put the steaks on. It's just an opinion, but this one, it's going to be a spectacle because it has to be a spectacle because of who's in it. Because we shit on Darby Allin. Make no mistake about it. Jack Perry's not afraid to do some stupid shit in the ring either. Hence the real glass comment.
Agreed. And that's why this match should be brought to you by Planners Nuts, because it's going to be nuts and stupid. There's no prime in this shit. It's all Planners at this point.
So we got
You are
so
nutty.
we have 2 for Jungle Boy and 1 for Darby.
I'm going with Jack Perry, yes, sir.
I'm
Justin?
going with Jack Perry.
Okay. I hope y'all are right.
Oh my God. Right front and center. That smug ass face.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing my Acclaim shirt.
There's
They
no
ain't
way
gonna
the Bucks don't go over in this match.
Nah,
Right?
the Bucks are winning this. Justin has a thought because he just sided us.
I cannot, with the life of me, ever pick the Young Bucks. So, if anything, I think it's the Acclaim's time. And I know they've had the belts before, but I think giving them the belts on a bigger stage, I'm torn. I love FTR as well, but I will never agree that the Young Bucks should go over or will go over. As a matter of fact, they could just go with Darby Allin and exit as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
a fan of the Young Bucks work. That Meltzer driver they do, where they do the flip in the tombstone, they haven't hit it one time since they've been in AEW, and they've wrestled a lot smaller wrestlers than these two guys. There's no way to me, though, the Bucks don't win this. The Acclaimed aren't hot like they were at All Out in 2022 when Chicago basically rioted because they didn't win the tag team titles. I think the Acclaimed are in this match as much as anything to not just repeat what we did last year with the Bucks and FTR. FTR's not hot either. Like, none of these teams are just must-see television right now. There was a run where FTR was clearly the best wrestling, tag team in the world. And I think they've rested on that laurel long enough and that they've just, it's just another match. Well,
they sat on their contract renewal too long and they started taking everything off of them thinking they were leaving, and then they didn't leave.
Yeah.
Well,
that too.
The
But my
fan in me
thought
wants FTR to win, but you're going to be shocked that I'm going to say this. It's the Young Bucks going over in a match that won't be bad because triple threat matches are no DQ.
Yeah.
So there's no rules for the Young Bucks to ignore.
Well,
So the match will make sense. So the match makes sense.
Voice, they're not a good tag team. They've never been a great tag team. They're old now and can't do what they used to do. But the one thing professional wrestling will always owe the Young Bucks is the BTE YouTube show that got AEW rolling.
They're creative. They're super creative. They're super creative, and they've made a great living. They've made a great living being mediocre in the ring.
Yeah.
They can't be bothered to frame a match within. They can't put a match together within the framework of the rules.
And they can't put a match together even having 2 weeks to do it prior and get it right, and they have to be car crash wrestlers. The Young Bucks have to be car crash wrestlers.
They want to get their shit in, and they put themselves in a position where they can bury referees and get their shit in, and people like it. Or a small enough people. Well, the guy in charge likes it, and that's all that matters.
Is anybody doubting that Rick Knox is going to be the referee for this match?
I would be willing to shave my head on camera if Rick Knox is not the referee for this.
So let me ask a question, and this is just posing a question to both of you. So Shane McMahon's been seen with Tony Khan. Is this a match that you would debut Shane McMahon in, causing issues for the Elite?
I love you for saying that. That is such a great idea.
Yeah, but I don't want to see Shane McMahon in professional wrestling.
Why not?
I'm not a fan, but controversy creates cash, I think someone says. So at the end of the day, you have a McMahon in AEW. Is this the match that you debut?
The only decent McMahon in AEW.
Right.
I mean, Shane, what's the heat with Shane? I mean, he goes out and when he performs his ass off. He's not the monster that his dad is.
As long as he's
the only
not
thing
looking.
Stephanie's got on him is that she's great. She's better to look at.
Well, I don't know. I think Stephanie's got a better promo.
Yeah, Stephanie is far better character, far better.
Oh, in ring, definitely.
Far more intelligent to the wrestling business than Shane McMahon.
But the thing is, it's as long as Shane doesn't have booking power to book himself, I think we're good. Because that's where he ran into problems at WWE, was trying to make himself look stronger than some of the wrestlers that they were trying to put over.
I think that, and I don't know, I'm just saying that I think Shane McMahon in AEW, behind the scenes, advising Tony Khan, helping Tony Khan along to compete against his sister and brother-in-law. And
That's
kind of an FU to the dad.
Right.
That I think that if Tony Khan with open ears would welcome Shane McMahon in, he could do things to better his product.
But think about it.
Behind the scenes.
Shane McMahon was everyone's pick for taking over WWE, right? And then all of a sudden it swerved to Stephanie.
He was never mine.
Well, I'm saying back in the day, you're much younger than us, right? But originally, when Steph and Shane McMahon debuted, it was very clear that he was being groomed for that role. And then he split.
Yeah, I think he's the one person in the family couldn't stomach his dad.
Yeah.
Well, and the wedding took place in October of 2003 that all but guaranteed he wouldn't take over the company.
Right. So there's a lot that you can run with Shane McMahon, but does he interfere in this match for FTR as former WWE guys and kind of builds something against?
I don't think he interferes, but standing at the top of the ramp with his arms crossed looking.
Yeah. This is the match I would do it.
I think Tony would book Shane McMahon to be part of the Elite.
No.
Mm-mm.
He's anti.
Counter.
He's counter EVP if he's in.
I'm just saying, I think Tony Khan would book. Would book.
You got a good point there.
To be in the Elite.
Hold on, Andrew. Is that after the first or second line of Coke?
It's Adderall.
Adderall. Allegedly. So, all right.
But anyway, guys, I think that's. Have y'all noticed that all of a sudden we immediately shit on the Young Bucks immediately, but we fantasy booked this match better than any of them that we've seen so far?
Yeah,
because
that's because the
EVP storyline is working. I mean, them being the evil. I mean, it's an overdone gimmick having evil authority figures, but it's actually working. It's the most interesting the Young Bucks have been to me ever. Okada popping in and saying "bitch."
That is funny. That's good.
I love it. I'm ready. I mean, I got to think that you've got a plan for Okada. I would like to think that there's a plan that he's going to emerge from all this and be what he needs to be. And maybe you just didn't right out of the gate make him what he needed to be to not be kind of like what they're doing with MJF. MJF would be back and immediately in the world title picture. And that's the predictable booking. And maybe they're staying away from the predictable booking that way. I mean, you would think that MJF would have been right back in the mix. You would have thought that Okada would have been right in the mix. You'd have thought Will Ospreay. I mean, we all thought Will Ospreay was going to be going for the championship at Wembley.
Yeah.
He's not only not going for the championship that championship, the main championship at Wembley. He's already put Swerve over to solidify Swerve as being a very legitimate champion. So
$4.5 million tells me you better do something with Okada, and you better do it soon.
Yeah, but maybe
it's a lot of money to not. It's a lot of money to bench somebody. Is all.
But Okada's got a belt.
Andrew, you could bench me for $4.5 million.
Dude, I would never complain. What I'm saying is they paid $4.5 million for this guy to basically put him on ice or to keep him from WWE, whatever you want to look at it.
But he looks like he's having a great time. He is a champion. He's wearing one of their many championships, but popping in and just saying bitch.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah.
And when it gets to the point where he's Ron Simmons saying damn, they can move and they can make it, they can pivot.
And they can market the shit out of that too.
But it's still great right now.
Yeah.
Well, and I criticize his in-ring work, but he's a little bit rusty. And I think part of it is the schedule in AEW is not nearly what he's used to.
I'm not going to name names because what I'm fixing to say is pretty insulting. But go down the roster and tell me working for AEW does when you're comfortable, that makes wrestlers comfortable, and it makes them not hit the gym as much, because there's lots of asses and bellies that have gone condo since they got there.
Well, and I think it goes back to the quality that you were talking about earlier, right? What you're looking for from AEW is quality. 100% around. And I think that's the difference between the two federations right now, or the two companies, right? Yeah. Is you have quality in one, and one that is grasping for that quality. And I think that's what's going to get them to the next level and put butts in seats for Texas in 2025.
No.
Yeah, they got to do something.
All right, let's keep it moving. This is the match. This is the match I'm looking most forward to.
This is the match.
This is the match of the night for me.
Yeah.
Toni Storm, my God, what she's done since she's got there, reinvented herself with this timeless Toni Storm. I think it's probably the best gimmick that's been done in AEW since inception. Mariah May, Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
It is Sunday. It is the Lord's Day there, Dave.
Oh.
Let's give a moment of silence for Dave.
Not only is she beautiful, she's talented. I love Mariah May as a wrestler. Man, I'm just telling you, I'm a huge fan of both of these women. And I think today is Mariah May's day. I think that the story with Toni Storm going forward is climbing back. Is getting knocked down and having to climb back up.
I absolutely love Toni Storm. I love what she's been able to do. I got to see her live in the Mae Young Classic. She's talented. Just being able to pivot into the character that she has shows the reach that she has as well. So total fan. I do think Mariah has her moment though. But either way, I think the crowd is winners tonight for this match.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if she retained, but I think for the way that they've done it, this has been brilliant storytelling. I knew eventually Mariah May was going to go after her, but I didn't see it at the Owen. So when she hit her, I was totally, when she grabbed that belt and turned around and busted her open, like I was like, oh crap. I knew it would eventually happen, but I didn't see it coming at the Owen. And you got me. And I thought it was brilliant. And but Toni Storm, I've said it time and time again, she's doing Carol Burnett.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Carol Burnett show. Even down to Luther being Max, the Harvey Korman character. But no. AEW is not for old farts like me. It's just not.
What?
Man, I'm not even reading that. I don't know that that's.
Anyway,
I'm not reading
onto
that.
the match. Onto the match. Toni Storm versus Mariah May. I challenge both of you to show me a better creative storyline in the history of AEW. All 5 years. Find me a better one.
There's not.
Find me something that somebody did better than this. You say that this is the Carol Burnett show, and I always forget that, Dave, whenever I talk about it and you're not around. This is also all about Eve, where Mariah has positioned herself as the follower only to take over the teacher. And let's be honest about it. You and I are on the same page with the turn. We knew it was going to happen. There was no way that it couldn't happen. But to happen the night she won the Owen Hart tournament over Willow, and they go to black and white, and Toni is bloody. We criticize AEW production all the time. That was brilliant. That was brilliant when she goes to the black and white, and Toni Storm is, bloody as can be. I think this is Mariah May's to lose. I agree. Now that you've put Toni Storm in the babyface position for this world title, that you go ahead and you have her chase. I think that makes sense. We also have a pay-per-view 2 weeks from today because they got to go back to All In Chicago. So you have to do something. I really do think Mariah May wins this, but I'm hoping this is the first in a series of several matches between them because the storytelling is that good between the two of them. Even to the point where Mariah May came out as Toni Storm on Dynamite.
Yeah.
She hit it perfectly. It was fantastic.
This is the Mickie James Trish Stratus storyline told better.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, they've done an amazing job with this. I just don't know that I don't know of anything that they've done better. And there's a much more, quote, high profile women's match on this card. And it don't hold a candle to what they've done with this.
No.
Yeah, I actually think this is the more.
This is proof that they can tell good stories in AEW.
Yeah.
They can do things right, that they can long-term book, they can do a build-up. Because you got what you said, it's what you've said is that later on the show, you've got a match that was hot shotted.
Yeah, this is
100% hot shotted. This is gonna be a good one.
Billy Goat, MJF.
Oh, I didn't know that this is who you referred to as Billy Goat.
That's what he calls himself.
Oh, does he? Because I thought you were talking about Daniel Bryan.
No, when he gets revved up and he starts going on his promo, he calls himself Billy Goat.
Oh, I didn't get that because I've always thought that Daniel Bryan was a goat boy.
Also a Billy Goat.
Yeah. He actually looks like a goat.
Goat boy from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Man, conventional wisdom would tell you that Will Ospreay wins this match. But what MJF is doing with the United States Championship,
the heat he's getting with it.
Yes. I don't know, man. I can't see him taking it off MJF yet, but maybe.
Well,
I think that Will Ospreay should win today.
So is this where you have a disqualification with Ricochet coming in and causing the match?
I think so, because I want to be clear about this. This championship is beneath Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay should be the world champion. That's where Will Ospreay should be going. He needs to be mentioned in the world. I mean, he should be 100% in the mix for the world championship. That's because I want to say he's the best wrestler in the world, but Okada's still there.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that
Adam Hunter, Ref Adam has a good point here.
I think
I
both
don't.
of these-
I don't agree though, and I'm going to
I
tell
don't
you
either.
why. Because who do you think Tony Khan loves more, Britt
MJ.
Baker, or Adam Cole?
Oh, Britt Baker, hands down.
Yeah, and Adam Cole recently moved back to Pennsylvania by himself.
Solo.
Put that out on Twitch, yeah.
And he was kind of unceremoniously dismissed by MJF. Now, wrestling storyline wise, Adam Cole showing back up to cost MJF makes sense. I don't think it's happening.
The other thing is Adam Cole, and make no mistake about it, he's been hurt multiple times. First, you had the concussion when he first came in. Now you've got this ankle injury that is not going away. Doesn't seem to be. But he's also a Shawn Michaels and Triple H guy.
And
To the point where Shawn Michaels still has the Undisputed Era picture on his desk.
Yeah.
So, there's always going to be a place in Florida for Adam Cole, even
I
if it's
think
NXT.
politics. I think politics has moved Adam Cole way down.
Well, Medusa and I've talked about this on her show, Trash Talk, Dave, is like, because we were talking about, and we tied it together, but when Candido and Sonny were together and Sean and Sonny are having the affair back in the 90s, who the hell is Vince McMahon going to pick? Sonny or Candido? This is same with Sable and Mark Marrow. He wanted Mark Marrow because of Sable. He didn't really have any interest in Mark Marrow, a professional wrestler. Speaking specifically of Vince McMahon, Tony Khan, if he's looking at a packaged item that's no longer a packaged item, and he's forced to pick which one am I investing in, even I will say Britt Baker makes the most sense, and everybody knows I'm not a Britt Baker person, not a Britt Baker fan at all.
Well, I mean, Tony Khan's all about good matches, dude. Good matches. And Adam Cole has good matches. So, but what I'm also thinking, and I'm not making fun of Adam Cole and Britt Baker's personal life. I mean, they broke up. Adam Cole recently had a meltdown on Twitch playing a video game. I mean, he's taking the breakup hard. So I think that because of what's going on with real life, I don't think that we're going to see Adam Cole for a while.
Yeah.
I don't think Tony Khan's I mean, the WWE, Vince would told you, I don't give a fuck. Y'all hate each other. Get in there and work. In fact, we're going to make y'all work against each other.
And make money off of it.
Yeah, we're going to but I think that Tony Khan's not equipped for real life drama.
He doesn't have that leadership skill.
I don't think he's going to put real life drama in it. I think he's going to respect their real life drama and not put them together. I think, that's what I'm saying. I think for one, he's going to look out for Britt Baker first and foremost. But two, I think that he's a decent human being that has real emotional and feels bad for them. That feels real bad for their breakup and probably going to respect them to let I don't know what the circumstances were. I know Adam Cole is taking it hard because he has taken it hard publicly. So what I'm saying is that out of respect, we're not going to see Adam Cole anywhere near this card.
Yeah. Well, and I don't, in terms of this match, we didn't talk about the gauntlet. Is that where they debut Ricochet? I mean, obviously SRS leaked it and all that, because there's no surprises in professional wrestling any longer with the advent of the internet and all that. But I think Ospreay goes over in this match. I think we're going to see 82 finishers, including the Heat Seeker and the Tiger Driver 91 and the Hidden Blade and the Stormbreaker. But I think Ospreay goes over in this one. But I will say to Dave's point,
with Ricochet.
To Dave's point, this title is beneath both of them. It isn't just beneath Will Ospreay. This championship is beneath MJF as well. That's what I said about when they brought him in and he wrestled Roosh in his first match back or whatever. No offense to Roosh, who was a AAA world champion.
And a Ring of Honor world champion.
A Ring of Honor world champion.
World.
But he was beneath MJF, particularly in the way he's been presented on AEW television. And it didn't elevate Roosh either. You can't make that argument that wrestling MJF elevated Roosh. The other thing is do we see Daniel Garcia tonight? Because this whole thing has started over Daniel Garcia. And maybe it's that Daniel Garcia cost Will Ospreay this match. But if it's me, it's 50,000 people. He's a top 5 or 6 wrestler in the world, and that's not arguable. I put the title on Will Ospreay in front of everybody in Wembley.
Is it a vehicle to feud with Ricochet?
It could be, but that's just fantasy booking.
Right.
That everybody wants to see that rematch from, what was it, DDT or not Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, whatever it was. Yeah.
And to speak to your saying that this title is below MJF, wouldn't you say this is on the level of John Cena being the U.S. champion in the summer of Cena?
Elevating the title.
Big time.
The only thing he did though successfully was get Kevin Owens over with the pop-up power bomb that ended the reign the first night in on the main roster.
Right, but I'm saying that he came back and with the U.S. Open Challenge, he made the U.S. title mean something and it was entertaining. Yeah. But clearly the U.S. Championship was below Cena.
Yeah. I don't think that.
But in that instance, it wasn't.
I don't think the title makes the man. I think the man makes the title. I think
that MJF in this scenario is making this title and being obnoxious, and he's an obnoxious prick. So I really like it a lot with what they're doing with him.
I think he rips off Rocky IV for the entrance. You're going to see him come out like Apollo,
would Tony license Living in America?
Oh God, I would hope.
Oh God.
Well, he's going to license the Final Countdown for Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson later in the evening. So
let's move on to this shit. I cannot.
Go ahead, Justin. You're up.
Do it, Justin.
Y'all wanted to skip Darby Allin and Jack Perry. This is my pisser break. I cannot stand Monet since she has come back. I think she's lost every skill and promo ability that she's had, and ring work just looks sloppy. So there's
if she was
3 letters.
If she's as good as she thinks she is, she'd still only to be the 3rd best in the horsewomen.
Yeah.
I've taken a lot of heat from people recently about criticizing these 2 women. And partly that's because of who my co-host on my other show is, Medusa. But I have been very vocal that I think this is going to be the worst match on the card. And the reason for it is ring rust is real. And Britt Baker got herself suspended 2 weeks after she comes back and hasn't wrestled but 1 match against Shida, who we know is a very capable performer. And Monet got her ass eaten up by Stephanie Valkyr so bad that WWE called Stephanie and gave her a job. I know there are people that think Mercedes Moné is a good professional wrestler. I'm not one of them. I am absolutely 100%. I need somebody to tell me so I can have a palate cleanser from her. To Justin's point, I hate everything about her since she's come back to AEW. Somebody give me a match to watch of Monet that I can be convinced she's actually a good professional wrestler.
It's not in WWE because
you can't do that, Dave, because they carried her.
No, what I'm saying is that she was a great WWE system wrestler.
Yes.
For that system. But she proved when she went to Japan that she wasn't built for it because she got hurt twice.
Yeah. And she is so undersized, and it's much more obvious. They don't wrestle big in AEW. In WWE, you wrestle big, if you guys understand what I'm saying. They wrestle up. They wrestle as big characters. In AEW, she's wrestling as a 5'0", 62-pound woman, and so much of the stuff looks unbelievable that she's doing in the ring right now. And I would say part of that is her dance partners. Her dance partners in the WWE were far better. But there is also, like you just said, Dave, there is a way that you wrestle in World Wrestling Entertainment that you don't wrestle in All Elite Wrestling.
And that's why she's the star that she is, was because of the WWE system. And that's not saying that she doesn't have talent. She had the talent to thrive in the WWE system that has not translated to New Japan and AEW. independent style. She didn't go from the indies to WWE. She's a product of WWE, and that's not a bad thing because that makes people millionaires.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That makes people superstars. That's not a bad thing. If she learns this style and gets better at it, good on her. But I'll make the argument, and I'll probably take some heat for this, that Cody Rhodes is better in the WWE system than he was on the independent circuit.
Yeah.
Well, he was never not a WWE wrestler, though. The way he works the camera, works the crowd, knows the audience, that's all stuff you learn in WWE. What they allowed him to be outside the independents when he went to Ring of Honor, when he went to New Japan, was to find himself and to be comfortable with himself, not being in the shadow of Dusty Rhodes. And let's face it, Big Dust always,
shadow.
they're always going to be in the shadow, no matter what. But I would agree with you. The way WWE has handled Cody coming back in, it's been great. Now, the other half of this equation in this match, Britt Baker, she was out for months. I get she was legitimately hurt and that sort of stuff. And good on her for being able to recover. But this is not going to be a good wrestling match. The timing will be off. The execution will be off.
And good on her for wanting to, because I'm sure that she became a very wealthy woman in AEW. Let's not forget that she's a dentist for real. She's a shoot dentist, and it's not like she needs this.
Yeah.
She don't need wrestling. So I don't question her heart. I don't question her heart at all.
No, I just think they're all stealing money.
But I think that this match was not that they should have. The money for this match would have been making Britt Baker work her way up the ladder to get to her.
Yeah.
This match was hot shotted.
Well, let's talk about Camille. Somebody let that woman find that woman a different pair of shoes to wear before she breaks her ankle. Because I get that Camille is not very tall and they're trying to make her a little bit more imposing standing next to Mercedes. But damn it, she looked like she was about to be in a walking boot Wednesday night when they did that physicality wearing spike heels in the ring. Dave, I've been in a wrestling ring, but I've never taken a bump. But there's a little play and all that. I couldn't imagine wearing a 3-inch heel as a woman in that damn wrestling ring.
No, because there is some give in there.
And then to bump. And then to be bumping in that ring in those heels.
It makes me nervous, but it makes me nervous when Charlotte does it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they shift their weight to their toes, but still. I mean, I've never walked in FB pumps, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So Camille plays a part. Rumor is also that she's building a faction as well, and potentially 2 members of the Women's of Wrestling, the Tonga or the Samoan sisters, the twins, is who they're looking at for Monet's thing. If that's the case, I don't mind her being a mouthpiece because I do think that they're going to add some excitement to that group. But turn it over to Camille and have Mercedes be the mouthpiece right there. Not saying that she can, but at the end of the day, I'd rather see her talk than wrestle at this point.
Yeah, I would rather see her do neither, but
she's with the belt and a faction. She could be the Ric Flair role.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, they have to do the whole Horseman thing where they're protecting her. I mean,
Monet
she's got to be heavy chicken shit hill. Heavy.
Yeah, I think Monet wins this one. And I don't think it'll be a very good wrestling match.
Yeah, I think Camille's going to cost DMD the match. I don't think it's time to take this belt off of Monet. If Britt Baker gets his belt back, then here's the thing: if Britt Baker gets his belt back, then it's only because Monet's being pushed into the world title picture. Because
and the other thing is that Sean Ross
Tony Khan's a fan, obviously.
The other thing that Sean Ross Sapp had said, and this could be the match where you see it, but then again, there's that world title match where you could see it, is Hayter, Jamie Hayter. Let's not forget about the former women's champion. He said that her and DMD have so many interpersonal issues that they won't be able to work a program.
Okay. How many times do we have to hear about AEW not being able to work together, and then they wonder why they're not succeeding?
Yeah. That came out of Sean Ross Sapp. I'm not saying it's accurate or whatever, but this is London. This would be the time, if Hayter's going to return, that you return her, one way or the other.
Yeah.
And against Mariah May or against Tony or against
this is a run-in promotion. I mean,
yep.
Normally they have a match and somebody appears. They have a match and somebody appears. So there's always they do love their run. I mean, I don't know if I had to put, does Tony Khan love tournaments for vacant titles or run-ins more? I may give the slight edge to run-ins.
What about huge announcements? As our good friend Josh Odom used to call him, Jacksonville Dixie.
Jacksonville Dixie. And now we have the main event.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You didn't talk about the gauntlet match.
It's coming.
Oh, I didn't have a graphic for it.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Go to the main event. No, go to the main event. We're good.
Well, they've got a gauntlet match, and I don't know who all's in it.
Well, I think
Hangman's in it.
Hangman is in it, and then Orange Cassidy is number one.
Number one. So the whole idea being he has the advantage. I didn't understand it at first, but then I got it, that he has the advantage. Adam O'Neill says Grand Slam just announced for Australia in February. Did they say the city, Adam? Is it Melbourne or is it Sydney? Do you know? Anyway, I think this is Adam Page's to lose, the gauntlet match. I think they're moving on, one way or the other with Danielson. You're gonna get to Swerve and Page, or Swerve and Danielson. And it makes more sense to Swerve and Page in my mind, but Brisbane. Okay, there you go. Brisbane, Australia. So they're not shying away from the international, Dave.
Okay. Hey, Adam O'Neill.
That's why I say our buddy Adam O'Neill, he'd know these things.
Hello, buddy.
Now here's a way to look at this. Do we think that Bryan Danielson is going to become the world champion? This is not his last match. This is his last year.
This is the only one that I'm not really confident on, because it could go either way. They have not done a good job booking Swerve, in my opinion. And now you're trying to turn Swerve back, quote, heel. I mean, Swerve is just Swerve. He's just let him be the tweener. That's fine. Nana's going to dance his ass off on the way out to the ring, and they're going to have a good match.
Swerve is an old school champion. He's what they need him to be.
I think Tony Khan wants Danielson on his lineage as world champion. I think he wants to say, like he did, you ain't seen Nate since they retired Sting, but Nature Boy Ric Flair worked for AEW.
Yeah.
I think he wants to say Bryan Danielson was one of my world champions.
So he's got to win or he retires. That's what the
and that's the other thing.
is.
That stipulation needs to go away in AEW. If I don't win the title, I'll never wrestle for it again, or I'll retire. I'll get the "I'll never do this again" shit out of it. Okay,
well,
you're Bryan Danielson.
Cody. It bit Cody in AEW.
Yeah, you're Bryan Danielson. You don't need to justify why you're in the main event of a world title match.
Right.
You are arguably the best wrestler in the world.
So let's say Bryan Danielson wins and Okada wins the gauntlet match. Who doesn't want to see Bryan Danielson and Okada again?
For the third time.
You got to do it quick.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson's neck is not good.
Right. But what I'm saying is that, I mean, there's no shame in losing the title to Okada.
No. And you can have a quick cash in, and what gets people talking, then a cash in now, and in 2 weeks you have All Out. So,
well, if you're going to do a cash in, then Hangman Page is probably the man for it.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to see Hangman Page as champion again. as far as high on Hangman Page as I used to be. I don't think I'm not high on him anymore. When they made him champion, he became Ronnie Garvin to me.
Well,
Oh no.
Shots fired.
Garvin.
Ronnie
Oh.
Garvin was entertaining, and then he was the world champion, and I never looked at him the same again because he was so poorly booked as champion.
Well, they deliberately held his bookings too until Starrcade. But
Right.
if you look at the Detroit match when he won that world title in '87, and you look at the Starrcade,
It made no sense.
those matches were badass though.
He should have
Badass.
burned. He should have burned through the Horsemen, defending titles against Arn, against Tully,
Barry.
against Barry. I mean, they could have. I mean, the storyline could have been as they were softening him.
Actually,
up
that
for
would have been
Flair.
Luger. That would have been Luger, but still, the point holds.
But I'm
Burn
saying
'em
he
all.
could have. They should have. The plan should have been they had him in there defending against those guys every night, wearing him down for Flair to pick him off.
Yeah. And Flair becomes the 5-time champion at the end of Starrcade 1987, in case nobody's ever seen it.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Inside the cage.
I
But,
want Swerve to retain. I want Swerve to retain.
I agree. But this whole gauntlet thing, now that they're doing the Money in the Bank thing,
Mhm.
where you can cash it at any time, and knowing that you've got Darby Allin waiting at the New York event. What's it called? Help me out, guys.
Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Arthur Ashe Stadium event.
Grand Slam.
I don't know. Swerve makes more sense, but then you've got they both have the Washington tie too, and that's where Wrestle Dream is in Tacoma.
Yeah.
See,
I'm going with Bryan Danielson on this. I don't see that
Unless they do the cash in a la WrestleMania back in 2015, these two are wrestling, both are down. Here comes Hangman Adam Page's music, and he interjects himself and he wins the world title and walks away. That's how you protect Danielson. That's how you protect Swerve.
Yeah. And then you could give Swerve a rematch in Chicago.
yeah.
Because they haven't announced who's got the title shot in Chicago, have they?
Mm-mm.
No, and that's where I still do not understand why they have a pay-per-view 2 weeks after. They
Well,
do
it
not
was
have,
1 week, and then
I
he
know.
moved it. It's crazy.
but look, they have
Oh,
not.
yeah, you do know. You're the fun director.
I had to cancel this week. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the thought process behind that, you cannot book a good pay-per-view within 2 weeks. So unless this is a solid outcome and it's like a backlash type deal,
Does that show an arrogance in booking, though, that like we're going to book it and they will come? I mean, like,
yeah.
they're going to watch it regardless. It doesn't matter who we put on there.
And they're struggling right now to fill in the arena for All Out.
And Chicago is their baby. That was
Yeah.
my point earlier. Chicago, if AEW has a home, it is Chicago, Illinois.
Are they in the Sears Center or the United Center?
No, the Now Arena, which is like a tuna can.
The Now Arena is. I'm asking is that they keep changing the names on these arenas? Is that the same arena that they had the original All In?
Yeah, no, it's the one where All Out's been every year. It's Hoffman Estates.
I'm not familiar. Well,
It literally is like a tuna can. Everything.
that's where.
It may be where the original one was.
Yeah, if it's
I'll look.
if it's the same building, I know they got away from it, which they tried to go to the United Center one year, and it.
Yes, they're back. They're back to the original place.
Okay. That's a good arena for wrestling.
We had a really good suite. Yeah, it used to be the Sears Center. Sorry.
Okay.
And it was perfect for it, but it just they're not selling well, and they wanted a stupid amount of money for it. So they've got Martha Hart, Tony Khan, and Tony Schiavone currently on the 0 hour. And our first pick was correct. Stokey Hathaway got pinned.
Oh, I didn't think he'd be anywhere near the ring. I thought he'd leave
Yep,
Statlander on her own.
he did well.
Oh, Ishii, or did
Well-
or did Willow pin him?
I think Willow pinned him. My pick is Brian Danielson to win. I think he's got Brie Bella will be there, and his family will be there watching. So I feel this is his moment tonight.
Yeah.
My wrestling brain says they need Swerve to continue, but I think emotionally, sentimentally, you give it to the American Dragon.
I think so too.
Unless you get the fuck finish we talked about, where whoever wins that battle
And
royal
guys-
passes in.
And guys, I don't have a lot of current stuff in my man cave. Y'all know how I am.
Look at all that.
But I'm coming around. Right above my monitor,
Swerve.
I have an autographed picture of Swerve, and he's with the belt, so that's recent.
Yeah.
And that's how much I think of Swerve Strickland. Because I mean Jeff Jarrett, Lance Archer, Athena, who should be on there. We don't ever see her. She's relegated to
ROW.
to Ring of Honor. And I'll say this in a loud, clear voice, is better than any woman we talked about on this show today.
I would disagree with you, but only over one. Well, are you talking in-ring worker? Or are you talking total professional wrestler?
I'm talking complete in-ring worker.
Oh, then that's probably fair because Tony's not. She's a far better character than wrestler.
And I'm going to go back to Toni Storm for a minute because I get tired of hearing WWE did not know what to do with her. Fuck y'all.
She didn't have the
She
patience.
beat Charlotte. She beat Charlotte clean on television and quit. They don't let you beat Charlotte clean on television if they don't have plans for you.
Did y'all see the Nature Boy rope right over his shoulder there? Dave also has a wall dedicated to the queen of professional wrestling, so it's going to chap his ass anytime somebody talks negative about Charlotte.
Yeah, but I mean,
She didn't have the patience for WWE.
right. I'm just saying, though. So all those, I don't know, they call them neckbeards or whatever that want to say the WWE didn't know what to do with her. Yeah, they did. They had a plan for her, and so y'all tell that shit walking.
Well,
But she's done so much better. I think that she's made it to higher heights at AEW. It was a good move for her because this timeless Toni Storm character would not have seen the light of day in WWE.
which is a shame because they're known for characters. But yeah, this has been brilliant. This has been brilliant on the Toni Storm front.
And I believe that Toni Storm came up with this idea, and that's the environment they work in, that they can have ideas and develop characters. And they do. Tony Khan, to his credit, will listen to ideas like that.
Well, and
he also listens to bad ideas. So
she's been so over the top though at the press conferences. I mean, the whole tits chin up, tits out.
Tits out and watch out for the shoe.
Watch out for the shoe.
When she told Mariah May, it's 4 tits, 2 women, and 1 dream. I legitimately lost it.
Oh, she was cutting a promo on Saraya. Called her the whore with the slut with the, I can't remember, but it was, I kind of I saw it on TikTok. I saw just a clip of it and I was laughing my ass off.
The one time she came out and read the statement where she decided she wasn't going to take any questions at the press conference.
Yes.
Reads that statement.
It calls Tony Khan Anthony, and she's so good.
She is so good. And that's one of the things that's why I say I want to see that continue. But to your point, Dave, it's the WWE is different than it was when she joined and left. And I'm sure the body of work she's put in AEW is a good selling point if she ever wants to look somewhere else. I would, if I was Tony, not let her go. I wouldn't let her get away from me.
No,
you know, because I think right now she and Mariah have the best thing going. And I meant it when I said I would challenge you, anybody, to find a better creative storyline where they executed patience and the nuances and the detail that you see with Mariah May and Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Of the entire time, because even if you remember that emotional match between Dustin Rhodes and Cody at Double or Nothing, I'm in the audience. The whole crowd is chanting "Dusty, Dusty," and it just gets real eerie, calm. That was hot shotted. That wasn't long term booking. That was hot shotted because they needed something for Cody to do other than break the throne of Triple H. When he came out with Sledgehammer.
Adam Hunter's right. The international shows are a better draw for AEW, but they were also that remains to be true. They're a better show. They're a better draw for TNA. TNA traditionally, like to the point where why don't y'all just run overseas?
And they did in England. That saved TNA's business for a long time when they ran those London shows. The other thing is, and let's not sleep on it, boys, 7 PLEs this year from WWE are all out of the country. I get that some people don't want to call Toronto or it's the one across from Washington,
Ontario.
No. It's where Survivor Series will be.
Montreal.
No,
Vancouver.
The other one, Vancouver. Thank you. They want to call that North America. I get that. It's still a foreign country, know? And when you see Backlash do the gate they did in France, and you see the gate that happened in Scotland, and you're going to see the gate that they're going to do in Germany. WWE, again, a global brand owned by a much bigger global company now with global dollars. So I think to stay competitive, to Adam's point, I was getting there, AEW has to go international as well. They cannot sit on their hands. And the international audience is rabid for professional wrestling, largely. As long as it's decent. I mean, you don't think Gunther's going to get cheered in Germany next weekend? Please.
Without question.
They could put Cody against him, and Gunther's going to be the hometown hero, So, anyway, but I think this one has potential. This event has potential. I just think sometimes, and this is an overall comment for AEW, Tony Khan, and if he's listening or not listening to people or whatever, because to your point, Dave, he's got Jeff Jarrett there. How much does he actually listen to Jeff?
I can't tell.
I think they try to outsmart themselves too much on some of this booking stuff, which is why we sit here and have a conversation about, well, do you think Shane McMahon's going to come in during the tag team match and be opposed? Yeah. The reason that's even a possibility for the three of us to discuss is because it's a possibility that Tony Khan would do it.
Yeah. We shall see.
But anyway.
So let me ask, guys, we've talked about all these matches. Let's kind of recap. Where do you think is the match of the night, and which is your piss break of the night?
Oh, yeah. Snack time is definitely Monet and Baker.
All right.
Monet
so then what's your match of the night, Andrew?
My match of the night is MJF versus Will Ospreay.
Okay.
Followed very closely by this one.
Pond Water.
My piss break is Jungle Boy and Darby Allin.
He refuses to call him Jack Perry, ladies and gentlemen. He'll always be Jungle Boy.
I can't remember his name.
I heard the Tarzan song the other day and thought of you, Dave.
And your match of the night?
Match of the night's going to be Toni Storm and Mariah May.
Ooh. Good.
I agree with you on that one. I think that's going to be a good build-up and storyline.
I reserve the right to say I was wrong, and there'll be a match that there's more good matches on this card than there's more good matches than bad matches on this card.
I agree.
I'm not interested in the ladder match. I'm not interested in the coffin match.
I think the ladder match is just going to be a bona fide car crash, though, because it's a ladder match with 12 players.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a lot.
I don't like ladder matches anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think that those two matches, and we kind of shit on Jericho, but Jericho and Hook is going to be a good match.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good match. So there's more.
I shit on Jericho just because I'm tired of Jericho. I mean, and nobody hearing this get me wrong. I think he's one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time.
You know, I just heard an interview on ad-free shows with Conrad, did the Insiders, and I can't recall off the top of my head the guy's name, but he was general manager of New Japan. He's one.
Yeah.
Mike, I can't remember his name, but he was quick to point out that their greatest growth on New Japan World came with Chris Jericho.
Oh yeah, when he came, they did the Pitch Black. He came, he attacked Omega.
When he came in, that made their New Japan World go to another level. The growth was tremendous with Chris Jericho. So, I mean, Chris Jericho has definitely earned the right to keep reinventing himself and doing now. Yeah, they don't all hit, and this learning tree stuff is probably the worst incarnation of him. But next week he could be the Rainmaker out there against Okada, and we'd all be coming.
Exactly.
Painmaker.
The Painmaker versus the Rainmaker, and we'd all be like fanboying, and it you know, our sports wieners would be going wild.
Well, Dave, take us home.
All right, y'all. Enjoyed today's presentation of All In London. There'll be no, unless one of y'all are going to do a post show wrap up. I don't know that we'll be back to wrap this thing up.
We're going to discuss it tonight live on TNA Top 10. So, and we may have to start our show before this one ends.
and this will be the topic this week on my podcast, Talking Wrestling with Palm Water Dave. We're going to do a complete All-In wrap up. Hope you'll join us for it. But today I've had a great time talking about this show with you. I hope that this isn't the highlight of my day. I hope that this pay-per-view is going to deliver, and I do think it will. I don't see having buyer's remorse when it's over. Fingers crossed. For Andrew Hermes, for Justin Yen, I'm Palm Water Dave. Thank you for joining us exclusively on the Ram Network.